Okay, so Sue, a lot of times therapists or teachers create goals where the individual will advocate for a break or ask for a break. Now, in my experience, I've had some of my autistic clients actually share with me one, they don't want a break because they view therapy as something they just have to get through. And so they're like, I don't want to make it any longer, so I don't want a break. And then two, they've explained to me that they really don't understand what the point of a break is. So, explain to us and help us understand kind of, we're thinking, oh, why would you not ask for a break? But help us understand how do autistic individuals view that whole concept of break?
Well, number one, it's hard for autistics to shift our thinking. Once we're in a point, we hyper-focus. So we are intensely focused, and making that shift to self-registration, being aware of, because of the interoception problems, we're not aware of our body saying, I'm exhausted, I'm stressed, we're not tuned into that because we're so hyper-focused cognitively. We're in the thinking area of our brain, not the emotional area of our brain or the automatic area where we're sensing our body. So to interrupt ourselves, we don't like when other people interrupt us when we're hyper-focused. So why would we interrupt ourselves to think, I need a break? This is where it's important that you give them feedback. You need to be monitoring their body language because they're not. And if you see, you can say, oh, I see you're kind of slouching down, or you're talking really, really, really fast. You look to me like you're tired, or you look to me like you're stressed out because you're all worked up. Do you need a break? Now you're interrupting them to self-reflect. And that gives them a chance to think about, oh, I am? You see that? I don't feel it, but you see that? Do I need a break? So what you can do is suggest, let's take a break and see, if it helps you, in that I see you've got that just right state where you're not too worked up or you're not too low in energy. And let's just do a 2-minute break. And then you have to suggest, because this is one of the things I had one of my clients that we had to wait X amount of time before it was late. So I said, waiting is really hard. He didn't understand the concept of wait. So I put the timer, and of course, right away he wanted to simply change the timer so it was over, so he could go back to class. And I said, no, the clock tells us. We can't tell the clock when it's time. The clock tells us. And so, but meanwhile, waiting is hard. So what do we do when we wait? And I took out a fiddle toy, and we played with the fiddle toy, and anything to stim or anything that he felt like doing. Let's rock, let's whatever. But when it was all over and the timer said it's time to go, as he was walking back, he turned around and said, thank you.
Aww.
Because he now understood what it meant to wait. And that the time he felt, I have the power, I can adjust the time. Why can't he adjust the time? What is this business with time? So it's just the fact that we lack that concept. And if you don't give us, this is why that feed forward feedback business is so important. You need to give us feedback on what you're seeing and what our bodies are telling us that it's not telling us, that we're not tuned into, so that we get the whole concept. Now, if having to take a 2-minute break, you can ask them, do you think you feel more just right now? Ready to go back? And if they say, no, I was fine before, then he didn't need a break. You misread him. and you let them know, I must have misread you. I thought you were worked up. That's what, but because I don't know an autistic that has not said, I wish I were a fly on the wall to know what other people think of me. Because we have no way of judging, because people are too polite to honestly tell us what they see and what they think about our behavior.
And, you know, I think it's so important that when adults are describing what they're viewing, that they don't use terms to make an individual think that they're going into like timeout or this is like a punishment, because that's usually how you need to take a break kind of thing.
Yeah, it's usually used as a, because your behavior's gotten so bad.
Yeah, but it's
anymore.
Yeah, and so that's the important shift is, wow,
Yeah.
I see your teeth are grinding or your fists are clenched or wow, that was a really loud scream. Your body seems like it's really active right now. And do you suggest that we ask, do you want a break or what
Yes.
is it? Okay.
Yes. And say, this is what I'm seeing. And I love the fact that you did it so concretely. You didn't say, you look tense.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, we're not going to understand
Yeah.
what that means. You're grinding your teeth. Make me aware of what it is I'm doing that's communicating that to you. Because we're not aware that we're giving off nonverbal communication unless someone makes us aware of it. So tell me what it is I'm doing that's communicating so that I can change it if I don't want to send that message.
Yeah.
But yeah, give us that kind of feedback. Tune us in, because how many times in your life has someone pointed out something that you never noticed before? And that once they point it out, oh my God, how could I have not noticed it all this time? That's what you're doing for us. You're helping us tune into something that we're not used to tuning into. But we can learn to tune in to our body. We can learn to make that shift, but not if someone doesn't help us. Provide us with the support to help us make that shift.
And that's honestly, that's the missing piece. We're jumping straight to, oh, if I just give this word break, you will use it. But the missing piece is that awareness of what does my body feel like when I need that break. So hopefully
Yeah.
everyone will take this great advice and start to describe concretely what they're observing. Because if your ultimate goal is for an individual to ask for a break, first we have to kind of teach them how to be aware interoceptively that they even need a break. So awesome, great advice. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Staci.